All right, welcome, Icons. My name is Sean Kokoska, the founder of Icon Coaching and Training. Welcome to our Icon of the Month webinar. Today, I have Geoffrey Adams. He's out of Arizona, and I got to tell you, the dude is crushing it. I mean, literally crushing it. He has built a team and a culture of productivity that I have not seen. Now, Geoffrey and I have been working together the last several months, coaching together, consulting together, and just having a blast doing it. We've made some shifts to the organizational structure, and as a result, I think, Jeff, you're blowing it up right now, aren't you?
I am, yep.
No doubt. Well, give us a little background, Jeff. Tell us about you.
Well, I got into the real estate business because I had a passion for helping people. And I was actually working with a realtor and just saw a lack of honest, competent, caring service. And I mean, she was crushing it too. She was driving a fancy BMW and, seemed to really have a part of the real estate game down. But when it came to really listening to us and really hearing what we cared about and then problem solving to bring back to us and help us find the home that we wanted, it was completely lacking. And I was looking to make a career shift and saw that, I had a lot of fun doing her job for her, trying to find the right house for us, and had a passion for helping people, and really saw an opportunity if this particular person was, doing very, very well in this business, that there was an even broader opportunity to bring in that honest, competent, caring service and really do well.
Brilliant. I love it. So you saw a need and you wanted to fill the gap, right? It's the empty parking space, as one of our past icons would have said. His name is Brian North, by the way, also out of Arizona, who shared with us, you're always looking for the empty parking spot. So Jeff, you identified one, you pulled into it in a powerful way, no doubt about it. So let's just kind of rewind the tape, because you've amassed a massive team, which we're going to get into. Yet you've amassed this team, you've created this culture, yet I want to just back it all the way up. Like when you first got your real estate license, what did you do?
So I did something that I think is really important, and it was a mindset that turned into action. And so my mindset was, this is my new career. Now, not a job, not something that I'm going to try. This is my new career. And so I was committed to attending every broker training. I was committed to showing up in the office at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I left at 5 unless I found something that would bring value to my new career and bring good experience. And so I think that was one of the first things that I did. And then I really looked around me to tap all of the resources that I had to learn. So the broker, veteran agents, any classes that were happening. And then once I started to get a feel for what the traditional real estate model, lead generation, how do I generate business, how do I ask for referrals, how do I do sales, I'm always trying something a little bit bold, something a little bit out on the edge. Maybe I'm working on my core business, but I've got an idea of something that might work, or someone shared an idea or a resource. So I did this really crazy thing, and it was this 3-year-old tech company at the time, and I was going to master this thing called Facebook and figure out how that worked. And there were whispers that this might be a new source of clients, and I completely failed at that. I couldn't figure out Facebook to save my life. So that was my wild idea. And then I went back to looking at, what niche could I work in where there is a lack of honest, competent, caring service. And it was 2008. There were these things called REOs and short sales that I heard veteran agents saying they would refuse to take their clients to because they didn't have any lights on, no toilet paper, they were dirty. How dare these sellers present a home this way? I said, okay, so here's a niche that is maybe underappreciated or underserviced. And I picked up my first REO client within a couple months, and I was a top producing agent at the brokerage a few months later.
Wow. Wow. Fantastic. Now, give us the question again. And everybody, I want you to write this down. What question did you ask yourself? Now, before you say it, just recognize the quality of the question determines the quality of the answer. And I think that is a high quality question. What was it again?
Where is there a lack of value or a lack of service or a lack of honest, competent care and service?
Fantastic. So write that question down. Ask yourself that question time and time and time again. All right. So I'm going to go out of order in the questions that I sent over to you, Jeff. Is that okay?
Sure.
All right. So you've built this team. Let's just say I'm an agent on your team, or I'm an agent anywhere in the US or Canada, and I'm struggling. What advice would you give to me?
You know what? I think it's really about asking questions. So my question would be, what are you doing right now that's not working? And whatever, I'm not closing enough transactions, or I'm not seeing the results that I'm looking for. And so then my next question would be, well, what are you going to do differently? And then from there, how are you going to hold yourself accountable to this new course of action? So I think a lot of us really enjoy the real estate business, but if we can get back to what our passion is, if there's a niche that we're interested in, and then how are we going to shift what's not working into behaviors and habits that are working, and then how are we going to track our success? And I would really want to dig into where that person's passion is, and where they want to take their business in order to coach them to that end result.
Excellent. Once again, a powerful question. What are you going to do differently? See, it's the how, what, and who paradox, as I call it, meaning the combination of what you do and how you do it and who you do it with. Well, that's going to get you to one level of success, right? Yet it doesn't automatically transform into a better combination of what you do, how you do it, and who you do it with. That's going to get you to that next level of success. So we're constantly asking the question, what are you going to do different? See, again, in order to get to better, you've got to get to different, yes? So what are you going to do different? And the second question was, how are you going to hold yourself accountable to do it? Now, that's one of the greatest challenges we have in this industry. We're independent contractors, right? We want all the freedom, we want all the flexibility, and we struggle with ways to be accountable. So, Jeff, for you, how do you engage in accountability? What does that look like?
With me personally?
Yes.
I surround myself with people that are smarter than me, first of all. And I ask for accountability, either through coaching and the agent collective. So all of the agents that I come in every day and work so hard for, I also ask them to hold me accountable. And I do that by encouraging honesty, open communication, requesting criticism. Sometimes, you don't like what you hear, but at the end of the day, you become better for it and your business becomes better for it. And you're able to perform at a higher level because you've allowed that accountability with all of the people around you. And it doesn't have to be, if you think of the typical management pyramid model, accountability doesn't just have to come from above. Some of the best accountability comes from below. And so I think those are some of the more powerful ways that I help the people around me hold me accountable. And then another tool that I'm just starting to use is your ETA program, which is really focusing in on my goal, which is 700 transactions in 2019. And using your system to back into that and have weekly tasks and actions that I'm accountable to in order to achieve that goal.
Wow, so much there. Let me just unpack it here for a moment. Okay, first off, you're accountable to the people below you in the organization. And by the way, one thing I know about you is that it's not a hierarchy feeling. It's not an energy that you're above or below anybody on that group. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah, yet how many leaders do you know that they've got to have all the answers. They've got to look good and be right in all circumstances. And they're not open in terms of mindset. They're fixed with their mindset. As a direct result, they're not coachable. They're not willing to express their weaknesses or their challenges to the people within the organization. They've got to look good and be right. In fact, think right now, how many of you guys know somebody who needs to look good and be right all the time? How many of you are sitting next to that person right now, right? I mean, they're abundant. Yet it's a breath of fresh air, Jeff, that you're open to this accountability, that you're open to just hearing out what other people's opinions are, and that you involve the team in regards to those decisions. In fact, the name of the team really speaks to that. Tell everybody, what is it?
It's Agent Collective.
Now, what does that mean to you, the Agent Collective?
You know what? It's just that. It's a collective of minds and professionals that are working together to create massive success that goes beyond any one person. And it's a collaboration. And it's awesome. You know, the cost to an organization that may not have this mindset is in lack of adaptability, in walking down the wrong path too long. And we've really shortened our the length of time that we work or live in less satisfactory systems or partnerships because we encourage that feedback. And so it's this, it's a collective, it's a collaboration, and it creates this organic growth within that has really created most of what we do.
How does that impact retention?
You know what? It's a really positive impact on retention. The people that it's not a good fit for, and typically the people that it's not a good fit for just don't want to work or for whatever reason can't put the work into it. It's amazing how positively that they opt out because they have the opportunity to share that, hey, you know, I love what you're doing here. I completely see how people are going to crush their careers with this, but it's not for me. And at the same time, we have that open dialogue with other people in the group to say, hey, somebody's struggling. And more importantly, then let's get them out. But how do we help? What tools can we bring to bear, or who in our organization can we partner them with in order to give them the skills, the modeling, or the systems to take them up a level and really bring them to the level of success that they want to be at.
Fantastic. Thank you. Now, knowing what you know now, I mean, you've built this great team. You guys are just doing transaction after transaction. And knowing what you've learned up to this point, knowing what you know now, what would you have done differently when you first started in this business?
I made a huge mistake. So I did not have a CRM, so any kind of customer management system, and I never built a database. Now, I was kind of in a weird spot. So I had one client, right? I was working on REO. So I was listing a bunch of properties for one organization, and then I had two, and then I had three. So, in my naive mindset, I had three clients, but shoot, I had 40 signs up at any time with sign calls coming in. I had all these transactions that were closing that I had no data for. I had no idea who these other people were that were involved in this real estate process, or even keeping track of all these people that were calling me on the homes. And even when I got to the point where I had so many calls that I had to bring in other people to help me, I did it on a referral basis, and I just sent the calls to them, and they weren't tracking much either. So there was years that went on where I could have collected all kinds of amazing real estate data and client data and followed up with people and generated even more business and added more value to this huge pool of people that just never even existed in my career beyond that one touch.
Gotcha. So everybody, I trust you're going to learn from the mistakes of others, right? I mean, the smart people learn from their own mistakes. Smarter people learn from the mistakes of others. And the smartest people of all, which is why you're here, they learn from the success of people like Geoffrey Adams here. So thank you, Jeff. All right. So by the way, which CRM did you dive into? Which did you adopt first? And where are you now?
So Top Producer was the first one that I tried, and I didn't use it. The next one, once we started really getting serious about creating the new collective team model, was Follow Up Boss, which was really good. I liked it. It didn't have all of the features that I was looking for and that I knew some other systems had. And so we looked at conversion and Boomtown, and we finally landed on Commissions Inc. And no CRM is perfect. We really like that one. And at the end of the day, the best CRM is, of course, the one that we use every day. So that's
Good. No doubt about that, Jeff. Okay. So tell us about your greatest successes to date. In fact, just take humility, and you're a very humble person. Let's take humility. Let's throw it out the window just for a moment. Tell us about your greatest successes in real estate to date.
Oh, I am so excited to talk about this. I get goosebumps just even thinking about it. So I was looking at our leads yesterday, and our oldest lead was just under 2 years old. So I think in 3 more days, we're going to hit 2 years old as the agent collective. And this calendar year, one of our agents hit a 6-figure income. So she took home 6 figures. And this agent, when she decided to work with us, she was closing 4 to 6 deals a year for a number of years, and she is closing 4 to 6 deals a month right now. And now she is mentoring other members as one of our success partners to help the newer folks in our group succeed.
All right, good. Philip Paxton just chimed in. He said, can you share with us the third and final CRM that you're currently using? And that's Commissions Inc., correct?
Correct, Commissions Inc.
Fantastic. Okay. So Commissions Inc., solid platform, guys. I flew out to Atlanta to vet that system. I spent 2 days of training on that platform. I love Commissions Inc. I think it's fantastic. It's not for everybody. It's very expensive. Some other options that would be maybe less expensive, yet do some of the same functionality would be like Chime. By the way, if you guys are interested in any of that stuff, just email me directly, because I've got affiliate links that save you a ton of money if you sign up through Icon Coaching. So just drop me an email at SHON, that's the correct way to spell Sean, at iconcoachingrE.com. SHON at iconcoachingrE.com. I'll help you out there. So Jeff, tell him. Kim Brown just asking, by the way, Kim is a fantastic one-on-one coaching client down in San Antonio, Texas. Kim, how you doing? Kim is crushing it, by the way. In fact, I talked to her last week on our coaching call. The week prior, she generated 270 leads, set 8 buyer appointments, 3 of which had homes to sell. So Kim, you are crushing it. You're blowing it up, and you're scaling your operation, and you're following the Icon methodology. Way to go, Kim. She says, how many agents are on your team?
So on the agent collective, there are 15 agents right now.
Good. And what's the target?
Target is 30. And
30 per?
30 per office.
Per office. So you hear this. There's 30 agents per office. In a moment, we're going to share with you Jeff's organizational chart, the hierarchy org chart, that's going to allow you to build a bigger vision, right? See, the bigger we think, the bigger actions, relationships, and habits we begin to form. So it's our intention, Jeff and I, to really stretch your mind as to what is possible in this industry. So now that we've talked about your greatest success, Jeff, let's talk about some of your greatest learning experiences. As I said, the smarter people learn from the failures of other people, right? So tell us about your learning experiences.
All right, so I've got 2. And the most important one is there's been times in my career where I've lost track of making my family time important. And we get really wrapped up in what we're building or what we're working with clients, and my phone and my emails and my attention to the business oftentimes encroached in on time when I really should have been dedicated to attention to my family. And so that was one of my biggest failures over the years. And to my solution to that was sometimes my phone just goes off, and then that's family time. And really, working in my work schedule, but just as important as I may be scheduling an appointment with a client, I'm scheduling, hockey game with my son, or going and spending some time with my family, having date night with my wife, and those are phone off times. If I need to leave a voice message that says, "Hey, I'm in a meeting," or "I'll get back to you after such and such a time," there's no more important client than my family these days, and I time block them just like I'll time block my real estate business. The other big failure was not knowing my numbers, and there's been times where I've just gone too long with some kind of shiny object, some kind of marketing plan, employees, and partnerships that just were not delivering the return on investment or the level of quality of service that we were paying for. And I think it's really important to make sure that you know what your numbers are, and you've got a monthly P&L that you're looking at. And you don't need a fancy accountant to have a monthly P&L. If you just go set up a business checking account, and every commission check goes into savings, and every expense for your business goes out of that checking account, you can log into your online bank account and do a P&L in like under 2 minutes. Just, hey, you can track how many deposits went into your savings and how many expenses went out of your checking. There's your P&L for the month, whatever that profit or loss is based on those two numbers. So, but I definitely encourage, once you get busy enough and you've got multiple streams of income and things are getting a little wild, to hire someone to do that for you. It's still worth it.
I totally agree, Jeff. And by the way, there's a company out there called RE for real estate, Profit, Prophet. If you guys are interested in getting your books organized, to have a working P&L that you can manage inside of a couple of minutes every single week, reach out to me at my email. Again, shon@iconcoachingrE.com. They've extended to Icon members, or just members of our community, a 30-day free trial of that platform. They're going to organize everything for you, and they're going to go retro all the way back to January 1st for you of 2018. So January 2nd of 2019, you can turn that file right over to your CPA. And for some of you, this April 15th might be the first year that you actually file your returns on time, right? So if you're interested in that, reach out to me. It's quarter the cost of a normal bookkeeper, yet they educate you on how to not only create your P&L, how to read it. So I encourage you to engage with that. Now, somebody asked the question, what does your organizational structure look like right now? So Jeff, I reached out to you this morning. I asked if you're open to sharing this. And of course you said, and which is what I expected, you said, I am committed to an abundant mindset. So yes, share it. So I'm going to pull it up here on screen, and let's talk about it, what it looks like, right now. Okay, right now. So Jeff, can you verify for me that you can see your organizational chart in its current structure at the moment?
Yes.
Fantastic. Now, Jeff, just walk us through this real quick.
So we have 3 groups that I facilitate. One is Realty One Group Commercial. So on the left-hand side, you see Mary at the top of that chain, and Louis, who reports directly to Mary. And then we have weekly meetings and collaborate to create success within that organization. Then we've got the REO group, and that's the one I mentioned earlier that I started 10 years ago. And so we've got staff and some agents in that group that collaborate and report to Michelle. And then we've got the agent collective. And so up at the top, we have our success partners. So those are more experienced veteran agents who understand our processes. And the folks that you see below them report to them and collaborate with them in order to facilitate their success within the organization. And then the success partners they collaborate with me. And in fact, I just got off of that call before this one.
Good, good. Okay, so you can see, and by the way, Jeff, what did this look like before you came to Icon as a client?
Very horizontal. So.
Right, so very flat, right? It was really wide. It wasn't deep at all. And what was your life like when you were working that model?
You know, it was busy. I love the interaction with the people, but the volume of interactions was taking me away from my highest and best use, which is to do systems development, lead generation, and really hone in on all the ways to bring more value to these agents, which in turn allows them to bring more value to the clients, which is in turn is a huge win-win for everybody from top down to the client.
Got it. Good, good. So there's a term that the military uses, which is span of control. Now, in Jeff's case, it's about span of care, meaning how many people can you effectively manage that can effectively report to you? Now you see all those circles that goes, or excuse me, squares that goes deeper and deeper and deeper down from top to bottom. All of those people, when Jeff came to Icon, they had direct access to Jeff. They looked to Jeff for not only leadership, yet management and day in and day out accountability. So Jeff's world was a little bit upside down. He was investing a ton of time and he wasn't investing the time where his highest and best use is, as he just said. So in the identification of what needed to change to get Jeff in his power zone, we created the role of success partner, which each success partner can effectively manage 10 different agents. So that's what it looks like today, right? Now, here's where Jeff is headed. So essentially what you can see is each of those yellow squares at the top, those are missing people from the organization in its current format. So you've got an office coach, and each office coach is going to manage just 3 success partners. And each success partner is going to manage 10 different agents, not for the sake of siloing each of these teams or groups, for the sake of span of control, to make certain that each of these can get effective management and improve their productivity and their profit. Now, as you go from that first square on the left, I don't know if you can see my mouse, that's yellow at that top line of direct reports to Geoffrey. And as you go left to right, this would be office coach number 2 and office coach number 3 as we go left to right. So these are expansion models for you, right, Jeff?
Correct.
Fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to stop the share on that. I trust that if you guys were interested in that you grabbed a quick screenshot of it. Very, very good. So, all right. Another question came in from Ricky Nystrom. Ricky said that he appreciates your time block for your family. Do you have any you time?
So Sean, let me get to that. I want to hit one point on moving from the horizontal to a more linear model. You know, that was a difficult transition for me, and I think it might be for other people to have these relationships with 30 or so people, or 20 or so people, and then to say, well, now you can't talk to me. Now you have to talk to Cassie, right? And it didn't go like that. It was a gradual process, and it was facilitating the leadership roles and really choosing awesome people to take on those roles that have that same passion for helping people and are knowledgeable in the craft. And naturally the people gravitated to them, but also naturally people would still call me or email me. And it was, the interaction would go, I would help them. I would give them the resources that they wanted, but I would also do a brief education, say, hey, next time you have a problem like this, here's 3 great resources that you can go to have your problem or question answered without having to track me down. Because I guarantee you, it probably took them a couple hours to track me down and get my response, whereas they could have gotten an immediate response with these 3 other resources. So that's kind of how that transition went. And I'll tell you what, my door's always open. So back to the me time. So a little trick, and I'll tell you what, I was bad at this for a while, and it's really hard. especially if you've got some family time in the evening that is really special to you. You can't really cannibalize that. You've got your daytime activities that you've got to take care of. So I get up really early now. So I'll get up between 4 and 5. I'll get a good 2 to 3 hours of work in before the rest of the marketplace is open. And then my phone starts ringing and the knocks on my door start. And then I work and service that part of my day. But if you can cut out early, like maybe stop that part of your day at 2 or 3 and go get a massage, go to the gym, go to the shooting range, whatever it is that you like to do, right in that space between, starting your day early, working your day, and then your me time, and then roll right into family time. I found that to be very successful for me.
Well, undoubtedly, when you take care of yourself first, you can take care of your loved ones at a much, much higher level. I'm at the airport right now. I'm getting ready to get on a plane. In a few minutes, I'm going to be listening to that announcement that they do from the front of the airplane, right? Where they say, in the event of a cabin pressure change, the yellow oxygen masks will appear. And should that happen, they give you additional instructions. Yet, what do they say next, Jeff?
I have no idea.
Don't they say put yours on first?
Oh, put yours on first, yes.
Before assisting anybody else. Of course, if you don't take care of yourself first, you're not going to take care of everybody else at a much higher level. So great input and a great strategy, Jeff, to make certain that you have your you time, because this business, it can become all-consuming. There's no doubt about that. And yet when you schedule you time or family time, treat that like a multi-million-dollar listing appointment. And the bottom line is you wouldn't be late to that. You certainly wouldn't miss it, right? And if you did miss it, you definitely want to reschedule. So yes, treat it as an appointment, right? Now, Jeff, I want to transition here real quick. Where does most of your business come from right now?
So about 25% is from REO, which has really slowed down. It used to be 100% of our business at one point, which is not a good thing to have. We transitioned into commercial after a couple of years, as well as keeping the REO business going. And so right now, commercial's at about 15-20%. And then the agent collective is, as of this year, is generating about 60%. Okay. And so I'll focus on the agent collective. We got about 80% of our business comes from online. And we got 10% referral, and then 10% other things like sign calls and repeat clients and things like that.
Excellent. Okay, so about 80% of the business coming from online marketing, and you're using Realtor.com pretty much exclusively. Is that true?
They're one of our biggest partners. We also use we market on Bing, Yahoo, Google. We're about to roll out our first custom Facebook marketing. Just because we've used Facebook in the past and it's had zero ROI, no return on investment. And so our thought process behind that is we really need to differentiate from what all of the other services are offering. Because if there's 150 realtors in the Phoenix market that are all using the same ad company, Commissions Inc., for example, then there's no differentiation between the ads. So we're going to see if we can differentiate a little bit and deliver value to those folks in a way that they're not quite getting value.
Yeah. So Kim Brown down in San Antonio just chimed in again. She said she's having great success with GrantWise at Real Estate Marketing University. In fact, I've got several clients using Grant's system. And Kim Brown's the one that I shared with you, 270 leads in a week, scheduled 8 buyer appointments, 3 of which had homes to sell, and that was all through GrantWise system. So if you guys are interested in connecting with GrantWise, I've got some preferred pricing for you. I can even get you some free do-it-yourself Facebook ad training programs. Just reach out to me. Again, it's Sean, S-H-O-N, at iconcoachinre.com. Got a request from Eric Daly, also currently a one-on-one coaching client. He asked that I share the organizational structure just one more time. So bear with me one second, gang, as I pull that up. So this is where Jeff's headed. And here's where Jeff is now. And I don't know if I had when Jeff first came to me. Unfortunately, I don't. Doggone it. Yeah, that's where he's at now. And this is where he's headed. Gotta love that. So really, as you look at where Jeff is headed, each one of you instinctively recognizes that at his current position at the Agent Collective, Jeff is really a recruiter of talent. Is that pretty much true, Jeff?
Absolutely. I mean, that is my main role. And, to facilitate the recruiting, I also need to, well, I'll tell you what our commitment to the agents is. So our commitment to everyone we work with, and especially our clients, is honesty, competence, and care. Now, when it comes to the agents, our commitment to the agents is leads, community, and systems made simple. So those are that's the foundation of what we are offering to the agents that choose to become a member. And so recruiting is definitely a huge part of what I do, but also facilitating the successful delivery of those three commitments is also what I focus on.
Love it. Okay. And you're also gaining some leverage in that recruiting effort as well by getting the success partners engaged in this. Is that true?
We are. It was really interesting to do an analysis of where our current membership has come from. Because I do advertise on Indeed, I'll advertise on Craigslist. Once we master Facebook, then we're going to also use that as a platform to reach out to people and let them know what we're doing in case they're interested. But most of our current members are through word of mouth or referrals.
Good. Okay. Now, most of your business is coming through realtor.com, and yet you use a different approach because, most realtors, they maybe aren't as humble as they could be. Is that a fair statement, Jeff?
Maybe.
So they're not as humble as they could be. Now, humble people, they don't think less of themselves. They just think of themselves less. In essence, they subject the needs of their own ego to create the opportunity to earn the business of somebody else. So, Jeff, rather than your agents calling or you calling this lead back and saying, my name is Geoffrey Adams, I'm with the Agent Collective here at Realty One Group, you don't say any of that stuff, do you?
You cut out there for a second, Sean.
Okay, well, you don't say any of that stuff like, my name is Geoffrey Adams, I'm with the Agent Collective of Realty One Group. You don't say any of that in the lead-in as you follow up with the lead, correct?
Well, right. The question that we need to be asking ourselves is what's in it for them? Because that's what they're asking themselves. What's in it for me is what these clients are saying. And, typically they don't care what company we're from. They've got an interest in mind and they're looking for a solution. They're looking for some value. So we really work hard to get to that. With the intention of setting an appointment and earning a new client.
Good. So what is the lead-in script that you and your agents use? Let's say it's a realtor.com lead. What do you say when that person answers the call?
Hi, this is Jeff Adams, your realtor.com preferred realtor, which is important because that's where they came in, right? That's the brand that they're familiar with and that they've shown us already that they like. So, hey, it's Jeff, your preferred realtor.com realtor. I see that you've inquired about 123 Main Street. Is a weekday or weekend day better to go take a look at it?
So you just go right to the close.
We cut right to the chase because ultimately, especially with the Zillows, the realtor.coms, the Trulias, these folks are much more advanced in their purchase process and a lot of them are ready to go. And so did you notice that we didn't ask them for anything? We immediately gave. We immediately delivered the value that a high percentage of them are looking for. They want to get into a house. Now, with that said, there's a lot of them that are not ready to look at a house, right? They're not pre-qualified. Maybe they're looking at the wrong thing or the wrong area, or they don't know the area. But we've established ourselves as a value giver immediately. And then often the conversation backs into their story, which is the second most important thing that you need other than that appointment. You need to listen to them. You need to hear what is it, what are their needs, what are the problems that you need to solve as a real estate professional for them. And so that listening process is really important. And And once you cut right to the chase and say, hey, let's go look at a house, they'll say, oh my gosh, well, we can't do it for this reason, this reason, this reason. Or absolutely, let's go look at a house, I'm available tomorrow. And then you just back into the rest of the more typical conversation. Fantastic. Let me get you on the phone real quickly with one of our preferred lenders. And they're going to answer any lending questions you have before we get out there to that house and move into whatever other scripts that you have that you're working with as far as getting pre-qualification and getting more information about their what's and their whys.
Well, Jeff, that is so powerful, because one thing I've learned about all of the icons, those top producers in the real estate industry, they first developed their ability to determine the needs of the prospect. And then second, they've leveraged the models, the systems, the technology, and people to fulfill the needs of the prospect as quickly and effectively as they can. And Jeff, you're the exemplar of what that means. In fact, I wanted to transition into, where do you invest your focus, your energy into the growth of Agent Collective? And I want to pull up a model toward mastery that we can kind of talk through to really posture this appropriately. So let me go ahead and share my screen one more time. What I'm going to do is walk you through this quick model, and then Jeff, I'm going to turn it back over to you. And based on this model, I want you to be able to just really explain where your focus and your energy is as the leader. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Perfect. All right. So first and foremost, I want you to think about your production as an agent. Just everybody who's on this webinar with us right now, recognize that in order for you to increase the size of your business, to increase your production and your profit, you've got to focus in on building a rock solid foundation. Now, the foundation to me, well, that's your state of being. It's how you show up to the world. And there's 4 things that impact your foundation. And by the way, if you guys are watching this and you want to draw out this model, it's ultimately going to turn into a pyramid with 4 horizontal lines through it, creating 5, vertically spaced, evenly spaced sections. So the bottom of it is foundation. The 4 things that impact foundation are knowledge, skills, mindset, and habits. Okay. Now, second phase of this model is we start moving up toward mastery. Well, it's your pipeline phase. This is your proactive lead generation, your marketing, your proactive lead follow-up, as well as reactive follow-up, things like open houses and things like that will help you generate leads and begin to fill that pipeline. And as you add value to your pipeline day in and day out, and those with tenacity, by the way, they're going to break through into this phase of momentum. Now, momentum, it's a fun place to be. It's a blast. I mean, buyers are signing agency contracts. You're getting listing after listing. You're getting offers in that are being accepted. And momentum is a great place. Yet I'll tell you, most realtors, they view this model as an or instead of an and. Meaning they get to momentum, they believe that they've arrived, and they think it's either pipeline or momentum. When in fact, you're not leaving that rung of the ladder, you're just adding 2. So it's an and, so you're in foundation, constantly improving your knowledge, your skills, your mindset, and your habits. And you're in pipeline, and you're in momentum. So it's not an or. Those that treat it like an or have this cyclical level of productivity, and they get to momentum, and ultimately they fall backward down to pipeline. Then they get back up to momentum and fall backward down to pipeline, right? So the one thing that's going to get you to momentum and keep you there is to then, once you're in momentum, to focus on leverage. Now, again, there's 4 categories to leverage as well. The first is through models. Second, through systems. Third is technology. And fourth is finally people. And then finally, and ultimately, and this is what we all strive for, is to reach that level of mastery. Now, recognizing the model, Jeff, tell me, as the leader of the Agent Collective, who's focused on recruiting agents and training agents and everything else, where do you invest your time the most?
So we invest it in the leverage and in the pipeline. So the agents that come in to our organization, we really want folks that are in that foundation zone, that know the business enough to be proficient with the right tools. And so our goal is to insert the pipeline for them. So we are delivering the leads, and we're delivering new skills for them to do lead generation. And then on top of that, from the top of the pyramid down, we're pushing the leverage down to them. So we're giving them the transaction coordination and the systems that allow them to be far more efficient and track our data and let us be resilient and move quickly to create even further success for the organization and for the agents individually. So we're taking the foundation level agents, adding the pipeline, and then pushing the leverage down. And naturally, as long as they engage with what we're doing, they move into momentum.
And your goal is to get them there and keep them there. So tell me.
My goal is to get them into momentum, and then when they are ready, to move them into our leverage zone, like our success partners, and then move them into the mastery zone where they can be an office coach and do what I do. That's my ultimate goal.
Fantastic. So I'm sure you guys can all sense that there is an ascension ladder to become an agent with Jeff's team. Is that you can start here, and there's a next rung, right, to get up to the position where you're an office manager and making a ton of money in the process, by the way. So Jeff, the model is brilliant. I absolutely love it. Now tell me, I want to stay on this just for a second more. The foundation, remember the 4 categories are knowledge, skills, mindset, and habits. So what are you doing first and foremost to improve the knowledge of your agents?
So we have daily meetings. Well, we have weekday meetings. So there's 2 days a week where they are collaborating with each other in their smaller success groups. There's 1 day a week where they are collaborating and then practicing scripts and objection handling. And then we have you coaching them 1 day of the week. And then we get everybody, we call it our all call. And we get everybody on, and we talk a little team business. We talk about, if we can pull some of the best things from the prior calls that week in the smaller groups and bring it to the entire group, and put our minds together and learn from each other's successes, solutions, and anything that didn't work that week, our failures.
Very good. Now, I want you to hear the answer to this. When do you do that training?
Every weekday morning.
At what time?
8 o'clock, 8 to 8:30, and we do our best to respect that time and not go over if we can help it.
Fantastic. So when I took over the Kokoska Group buyer agent team, guys, it was a little bit fragmented, meaning some of the agents would work from home. Some of them would show up at 10 o'clock in the morning. Excuse me, that was a slip, right? Others would show up or wouldn't even show up at all, right? So I recognized that when I could get the agents, into the office as early as possible to get them focused on improving their knowledge and their skills, that would have a massive impact on their mindset and their habits. So by getting them going at 8 o'clock in the morning in training, it gets them engaged, right? Now in that process, though, what we did was with the same buyer agent core, we tripled productivity and profit because we got them motivated first thing in the morning, got them focused on improving themselves first, recognizing their production and their profit. Well, it's going to grow to the extent that they personally grow. So I considered it my job to really focus in on their knowledge, their skills, in essence, knowing what to say, knowing how to say it, and then giving them a mindset to say it to enough people. And those are the 3 metrics of success in real estate. When you boil it all down, there's the 3 things we can control: what we say, how we say it, and how many people we say it to. It's a numbers game, right? So good stuff, Jeff. So you've created this really sandwich from a top down in terms of leverage, and then a bottom up from foundation and pipeline to get them into momentum. And as they prove themselves as the right talent and they're succeeding at a high level in that role, then there's a next rung of the ladder, then there's a next rung of the ladder. And gosh, it's a vision that will encapsulate the size of other people's vision. See, when their vision expands our vision for them, well, that's when they want to leave. That's when they get drunk on the wine of their own success and say, I can do this all on my own. Your vision just isn't big enough, right? So good stuff. I just got to notice that my connection is unstable, and I apologize in advance, you guys. I'm at the airport getting ready to board a flight.
You're cutting out a little on me, Sean.
Yeah, I apologize in advance. Jeff, I'll let you take it over. Anything else you want to say about this model? All right. Anything else? Anything else you want to say about this model, Jeff?
You know what? I want to talk about our call a little bit. So there's one other thing that we do on the calls many of the days of the week is a little bit of accountability. And I think that's important. And I'll tell you a funny story. When we were first starting this model, it was really hard. Like, I'm like, people aren't going to get on this call. It's going to be hard to get people to roll out of bed and make this an important part of their day. And you know what? It's the best part of being in our organization, aside from having a pipeline that is awesome. It's that collaboration and that accountability. And there was a point where we were really digging the collaboration, and it seems like the calls were going longer, especially as we were growing in size. We only had one group on one call, and we actually did away with the accountability piece. And we're like, let's just focus on this masterminding. And within a week, there was a clamoring to have it back. And so people really wanted that accountability. They wanted to hear what other people were doing, and especially the people that were having massive success. How many calls were they making? How many meaningful conversations were they having? How many appointments were they setting? So there was a benchmark and something for the newer folks to go after, and some of the folks that were not meeting their goals had some people whose accountability sharing allowed them to aspire to that level.
So what I heard out of that, Jeff, is that people want accountability.
Absolutely.
No doubt about it. And I think it's how you hold them accountable that makes all the difference. So how is it that you articulate that you will be holding them accountable if they're an agent on the collective? How do you set that energy, that tone?
So we set the tone based on their goals. We're here to give them the tools and give them the resources, the leads, the community, and the systems made simple to meet their goals. And so it's really hard for to have any issue with anyone when it's your main job is to help them meet their goals. So it's really a positive feedback loop. It's, hey, here's where I want to be. Okay, here's how we can help you get there. How's it going?
Gotcha. Hey, Todd Watkins, who's a current one-on-one coaching client with Icon as well, he raised his hand here. I'm going to allow you to talk here for a moment. So unmute your machine there, buddy, and go ahead and ask your question.
Oh, I totally did that on accident. My bad.
Okay, gotcha. Did you have a question for Jeff, Todd?
I know normally I have something to say, but surprisingly, I don't have anything at the moment. I'm just soaking it up. So I appreciate it.
Good stuff. Okay, I'll go ahead and disable that right now. Thank you, Todd. I appreciate that. And feel free to type in any questions in the chat function or even the Q&A section of the webinar, guys. So it's that time, by the way. We've got 7 minutes remaining with Geoffrey, and I would like for you to ask any question that you'd like to hear a solid answer from this icon. Go for it. Go ahead and type it in right now into the chat bar or the Q&A section. And waiting for the questions to come in, guys. Go ahead.
So while the questions are coming in, Shauna, there's a couple takeaways I'd like to share with folks. And you'll notice that I diversified my income streams. So I started with REO, and then REO slowed, and I really got hammered. I went down to less than 20 deals 1 year because the REO went away, and that was my oh crap moment. And when I really poured all my time into getting a CCIM certification and growing my commercial business. And then, I saw the REO going away again a couple of years ago and said, hey, let's put together a regular residential team. That sounds like fun. And that was where the Agent Collective was born. And so it's really important to have that diversified stream of income. And it doesn't have to be going and learning commercial real estate. It could be, hey, I'm gonna develop a relationship with a BPO company, or I'm gonna go learn how to sell new builds, or maybe I'm going to develop a relocation relationship that I have. And I want to encourage folks not to get too hung up on referrals or splits when you're looking at that stuff, but look at the long-term piece. Like if you're paying 35% to a referral company or a relocation company to be part of their system, but they're going to deliver 50 deals to you this year. Like, think about the grand scheme. And business begets business. So, if you're going to have 25 signs up because of that relocation business, and you're going to generate 10 leads from each of those signs that turn into something decent, that's a whole nother stream of business that you've been able to generate. And when markets shift, and they do, and economies shift, and they do, you've got options rather than being pigeonholed in one niche or one other.
That's a powerful lesson. And again, we've got to learn from the experiences of others, right? Let's analyze the missteps of those that have gone before us so that we don't take the same path. So Jeff, thank you. That is so powerful. A couple of rapid fire questions for you here real quick. What percentage of your gross revenue do you invest in marketing?
So we'd spend about 20%, but it's better than that because we do leverage our relationships. And so we can bring in some of our partners, and good partners are really important. And good partners are loyal. They contribute to the relationship, and they invest in you. And so now keep in mind, partnership means you reciprocate, right? So you do that back with them. You are loyal. You are investing in the relationship, and you are investing in making them better. So it goes both ways. And when you can do that, it's really powerful. And it will bring your marketing budgets and costs down when you do that, because they have their own lead sources, or maybe they're going to partner with you on something RESPA compliant. And it's a great way to really increase everybody's success and bring your costs down.
No doubt. Excellent. Okay. What's your lead conversion percentage, and how do you track and manage that?
So CRM, right? You have a good one, and then your numbers. So pay-per-click, 1%, Facebook, nothing. And pay-per-click, we're doing Bing, Yahoo, and Google. And then on the Realtor.com style stuff, we're at about 6%.
Fantastic. Well, I expect to see that tick up now that we're training together with your agents. I expect to see that tick up substantially, by the way. Let me ask, how do you distribute leads to your agents? Is it based on their production? Is it based on their availability? Is it round robin? Is it jump ball? Talk to me.
So we do floor time. It's kind of an old-fashioned idea, but we find that it really allows us to get to the leads a lot faster when you have a dedicated person that knows it's their time to really focus on being responsive to leads. And the other thing that it does is it created a level of psychological safety. So, we were talking about how important family time was, and it's really important. And so rather than being at your son's ball game and your phone goes off and you don't know if it's your next $1 million lead, and you're grabbing your phone and stepping away from your family, now we know that, hey, this is our lead time, and this is our time that we manage, and we don't have to be beholden to our phone and get to those leads quickly.
All right, good.
How are they distributed? They're distributed evenly, as evenly as possible. And then if we have some extras or some extra floor time, it will go to our highest converters.
Got it. Okay, so a couple of questions have come in. Eric Daly asks, curious about the splits, bonuses of members, success partners, and office coach. What does that look like?
So great question. So we go 50-50 split on the buy side, and then we bonus the members based on how much production they have within the month. So your first 2 transactions will be at the 50-50 split. And then because you're a rock star, the next 2 are 55 to the member, and then the next 2 are 60, and it staggers that way, and it resets at the month. And we do have people taking very good advantage of that. On the listing side, it's 35%. There's just a lot more involved on our end in doing that. and a proficient listing agent can go out and take a number of listings and really have a fantastic income leveraging everything that we do. And by the way, we do pretty much everything once they get that listing agreement signed. So professional sunset photography, lockbox installation, transaction manager is calling them to get any additional showing instructions to introduce the team. It goes up on the MLS. So our goal is to have the agents of the Agent Collective out in their highest and best role. And, we love being belly to belly with people. We love seeing people smile. We love making people happy. Typically, we're not the best at all the minutia and trying to stay organized on the back end, or at least we don't like it when we could be out there getting another contract signed and doing another deal, which is a much more higher dollar productivity when it comes to the use of our time.
Powerful answer. Great input. Okay. Kim Brown asks, when your team reaches certain goals, do you have any reward system for them?
So within the monthly, we do have that tiered system. We do have a team goal, which is we're going to give away a cruise. So that's kind of fun at our annual meeting in February. Let's see, any reward system beyond that? I don't think so, no.
Okay, all good. So Philip Paxton chimed in here. He said he has a 3-person team. He's a rainmaker. His wife is the buyer's agent. The marketing is controlled by his daughter. His wife does the marketing, and his daughter is the admin director of operations. He said, what should his next 3 hires be, and in what order? They do 10 million now. The goal is 20 million in 2019.
So, Philip, are you planning on having any more kids? No, I'm kidding. So, let's see. That's interesting. So, it really depends on where your business is going. It looks like you've got your admin, which is really good. I mean, what does your business look like? Where are your leads coming from? What kind of leads are they? If you've got referral basis, do you want to bring in another buyer's agent because that's most of your leads? Do you want to bring in someone to really foster that those relationships and generate more business for you? Do you need someone? Do you have a big database of internet leads, or are you going to work on expireds? And do you need to bring someone in to call on those to set appointments for you? There's a lot of opportunity as far as where you want to take your business. I would look at where is most of your business right now? How can you really grow and facilitate that piece? And then if you were going to take your business in a different direction, what would that be? And then start looking at, what the next steps are and what value that you would need to bring to that new branch of your business and who needs to step in and do that.
I think it's great input. And if I could chime in here as well, I think first we want to look at, what tasks can be delegated effectively to somebody else that are time consuming and not necessarily dollar productive. So I think the first key hire should be that of an ISA/showing partner for your wife, quite frankly, to give your wife the opportunity to delegate the most time consuming part of the buying process to somebody else. And it's funny to me, that one activity that requires the most amount of time requires the least amount of talent. So to pull in a showing partner, and obviously they're not going to show homes for 10 hours a day. So when they're not showing homes, what they're doing is they're following up the leads that you're undoubtedly generating. They're doing proactive outbound lead generation to help increase listing inventory. I think that would be the first hire I would make. And I would hold them in that pattern of a showing partner ISA until they got 5 buyers under contract. So your wife can effectively train that person to do it the way you guys want it done. And because your wife's doing the bulk of the work, well, you and your wife are going to keep the lion's share of the commission. So I would pay them 15% of gross commission income and allow them to get on the job training so that they can do it the way you want it done, right? So if you want more information about that, again, email me. I've got the full organizational chart the evolution of what I call the iconic team. Be happy to share that with you, Philip. Just email me, shon@iconcoachingrE.com. Now, with that said, I'm getting ready to get on an airplane. So it's going to be tomorrow that I can send it to you. I trust that's okay. All right. And well, thank you, Philip. You just said thank you. Yeah.
With Philip too, as you're growing, Philip, one thing that you want to think about is what's the cost? And is it a fixed cost that you're going to have to put out every month, or is it a cost based on the production that your business or the people related to that new position are doing? So you're a lot more flexible and adaptable, especially in shifting economic times, if you've pegged the cost or the income for that person on production rather than on an hourly or a salary basis. Now, with that said, typically if they're based on production, their reward will need to be higher and the cost will be higher. But you, as an organization developer, your risk is lower. And if something significant happens in your business or your life, that you don't have this huge payroll that you need to take care of.
Yeah, and that's important to lead with revenue. No doubt about that. Well, Jeff, we didn't get to all the questions yet. Those that we did get to, man, we got some powerful, powerful answers. So, Jeff, thank you so much for adding so much value to the real estate community at large. I'm certain this is going to get thousands and thousands of replays. So, fantastic. Jeff, any parting thoughts, words of wisdom for our audience here?
Yeah, Charlie, I want to lead by example a little bit here and acknowledge all of the awesome people that are contributing to the success. And I want to thank all of the amazing agents with Agent Collective who are working so hard and are sharing their honest collaboration with each other. Fidelity National Title, Tammy Gregg here in Phoenix has invested in me, which is such an important characteristic of a partner. Greg Hansen at Envoy Mortgage in Tempe, and Reggie Green of Team Green at Fairway Mortgage. And then Sean, really want to acknowledge you. It's been a real pleasure and an honor to work with you. And I am so excited to continue this business model build out.
Well, you and me too, Jeff. Thank you for the opportunity to align with you, to help you create some additional clarity around this vision and the model. I can't wait to see what happens in 2019. I think it's going to be your year, brother.
I'm excited.
You and me both. Everybody, thank you for investing the time to join us. Again, any questions, I just typed out my email address in the chat function. It's Sean@iconcoachingrE.com. By the way, real quick, Jeff, where specifically are you located in Arizona?
So we're in the Phoenix market. We're in the Tucson market. And we also have a group in Payson and Prescott. So pretty much if it's in Arizona, either we'll handle it directly or we've got someone fantastic to refer it to.
All right, good. So guys, send all your referrals associated with Arizona directly to the Agent Collective. They'll take great care of them, I promise you, and get your referral fee. All right.
Yeah, join us on Facebook, Agent Collective.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, guys. Take care now. Bye-bye.